Hello everyone, I am Shaheen Motala-Timol from Mauritius. I am presently the Acting Head Regulatory Affairs at the Higher Education Commission, which regulates the higher education sector in Mauritius. I will give you a brief overview of our higher education landscape. We are a population of 1.3 million people, and we have 5 main public universities and 46 private institutions that ranges from branch campuses to franchise institutions. As per the latest data collected, we have a total number of around 39,000 students enrolled locally, mostly on face-to-face programs, and around 11,000 students who are partaking in some type of distance education programs. Following the first positive cases of COVID-19 detected in the community, our country went into lockdown on 20 March 2020. Our borders were closed a few days earlier, and all incoming passengers were quarantined. The main challenges at the beginning of the lockdown was the uncertainty and fear about the public health context and how many people in Mauritius were infected. We had 10 deaths on the island in the earlier days. With contact tracing, the spread of the virus was gradually contained. At present, in June, we are no longer under lockdown. We do not have any local cases, and the few positive cases which were detected in people in quarantine are being treated. We are still required to keep all sanitary precautions when we go out, and masks remain mandatory in public places. As all other sectors, our higher education sector closed down due to the pandemic. I think it was a surreal situation for the whole community at the beginning, when we were awaiting information and decision by the governing bodies. In some countries, national decision allowed universities to provide their programs online during the pandemic. In other countries, institutions were not allowed to offer programs online unless these were specifically accredited as online programs. In Mauritius, most institutions provide on-site face-to-face programs. Many academics still use traditional methods of teaching. We have one open university, but it also provides some face-to-face delivery. Private institutions, which are affiliated to overseas awarding bodies, are more familiar with the blended learning modes, and some have in place learning management systems such as Blackboard and Moodle, but they still heavily favor on-site teaching and learning. At the level of the Ministry of Education and the Higher Education Commission, there was no central decision to move forward towards virtual learning. We relied on our institution to take the lead in making autonomous decisions on how best to pursue their programs. We understood that the level of preparedness varied according to institutions, and we also appreciated the challenges in switching to online delivery at such short notice and without proper planning. However, sustaining operation remained vital to all stakeholders. At the level of the regulatory affairs, we engage closely with our member institutions to collect information, provide guiding and thinking points to reflect on their action plans, and to ensure the least disruption in studies, as well as the well-being of the community. In fact, one of my first worries at the start of the lockdown was the fate of international students still in Mauritius, as we have some 2,000 international students enrolled in our institutions. All institutions were required to report back to us on the status of their international students and to ensure their safety and well-being during the pandemic. So how did the institutions deal with program delivery during the pandemic? So data that we collected indicated that institutions harnessed their existing expertise and resources to move their operations online. Of course, from our experience of accreditations of program, we understand that the provision and the quality of offer differ based on factors such as size and types of institution, capacity and access to external support, for instance, from the parent universities. Although approaches differed, the best cases showed that institutions communicated with students across a range of electronic platforms. These included personalized emails, webinar, Zoom and Skype meeting, phone call, social media, and website announcements. Most institutions and their academics leverage free online resources to reach their students and to continue their programs. Practical-based courses, laboratory and fieldwork had to be postponed. Research undertakings also took a backseat. However, universities drafted policies for continuing supervision of dissertation during these times. While examinations were postponed, the more innovative institution implemented alternative methods to assess students online. We do not have the data yet on online attendance of students during the past 2 months. We also have not assessed the quality of the learning during lockdown. Institutions are rolling surveys to assess their online delivery, and this would offer valuable feedback in the future for this type of offering. As we stand now, universities and institutions are preparing to resume physical activities to allow on-site teaching and learning while complying with social distancing measures. Having heard from institutions and students alike, we can share that there is a lot of anxiety about the uncertain time ahead. Institutions are worried about a decrease in student enrollment in the coming semesters. This will impact for-profit private institutions that rely greatly on student fees. Given that the schedule of secondary school have changed, there is uncertainty regarding when students will be completing high school. Our public universities might also see a cut in their budget, given that public money would be diverted to other priority areas. Many students are also worried about their future, whether it is the resuming of universities or, more importantly, completing their studies and graduating on time. Career progression and job prospects definitely are not a given today. In Mauritius, several companies have already filed for redundancy. All sectors are suffering huge economic blows, and this will definitely impact the future of the job market. Research programs will also be impacted, given that external funds and grants might no longer be available to pursue projects. Therefore, the future of higher education as it stands now might well be at stake. Why invest in studying further if there are reduced job opportunities? However, in times of uncertainty, university education remains more valuable and relevant than ever before. During this crisis, we saw that governments relied heavily on the advice of experts to make informed decisions. We rely on scientists to find solutions to fight the coronavirus. Throughout, we have relied on experts to keep us safe. Yet, many questions remain to be asked. How can higher education be more relevant today? Has the COVID-19 sparked a revolution in education by forcing all of us to switch to online education? Is this crisis the opportunity to rethink education from different perspectives? So we cannot deny the potential of online education. However, teachers and students alike will conquer that being behind screens all day long is exhausting. Anxiety, uncertainty, fear, and isolation are real issues that need to be addressed. Blended learning mode can be envisaged as an alternative to both purely online or on-site delivery. This, however, should be supported by the right emotional, academic, instructional, and IT scaffolds. Institutions will have to invest in capacity building of their staff too. So the future of higher education should also be about equality of opportunities and access. The pandemic has unmasked existing inequalities among students and amongst institutions. Barriers to access to learning technologies and internet must be removed. Post-COVID-19, national policies on equal access to education have to integrate access to learning technologies and to the internet. With these changes in our education models, we also have to rethink the future of higher education from a regulatory perspective. Policies for ensuring and maintaining quality and standards in different types of offer, including digital, online, and virtual learning, have to be evidence-based and should consider equality of access. We have also to preserve the autonomy of institutions and support them to commit to their missions throughout challenges. We need to ensure that institutions have internal quality assurance systems which adapt to the changing needs of students and society. At the end of the day, this pandemic has forced all of us to stop, to think, and to act. We now need to use this opportunity to set ourselves on the path of rethinking our higher education system and purpose. Thank you very much.